Link up, ayy. You just hit my line for the wind down. There's only one thing on my mind when you come around me. I get lost in where you found me. Want you to use me. You let her confuse me. Don't wanna hide the fact that you make me feel away. Want you to give me play. I see it in your eyes, you're lonely. Come put that body on me. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. They can't do you like I will. Nobody do you like I will. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. They can't do you like I will. They can't do you like I will. Like I will.
I treat you right, I will.
I treat you right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. I treat you right, I will.
I treat you right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel.
I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby. Know how to make you feel. I hit it right, I will. I treat you right, I will. They can't do you like I will. Like I will. Pick up the phone, little baby. You got me up and I'm wavy. You know I want you to myself. You know you've been driving me crazy. Looking me right in the eye and tell me it's mine. If not, I'ma make it that way. You know I want you in a major way. I bless that body, make you share your grace. I've been trying to get you face to face. Fall through and give you ways to waste. I do what it takes. I make them walls sing on your heartstrings. Say your
I treat you right, I will. I treat you right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby.
Know how to make you feel. I treat you right, I will.
I hit it right, I will.
Trust me, I got you, baby.
Know how to make you feel. I hit it right, I will. Trust me, I got you, baby.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So before we get started, I just want to shout out the Reacts Network and shout out to the Reacts channel. We are getting close to that 1K subs, and we hit our 20 member milestone last night. So, man, shout out to everybody that rocks with us over on the Reacts channel. I see my man Cannon Hotep is in the building. We got to get Cannon Hoteps to come rock with us on the Reacts one time. You know what I'm saying? If y'all want to see Cannon Hotep come rock with us on Reacts one time, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. I'm going to shout out everybody that's in the building. It's good to see each and every one of y'all. Y'all know what to do as far as the sound checks go. We got Catsy up in here. We got Carla Lockhart in the building. We got Carlton Waite in the house. We got Denise Scales. Shout out to Denise Scales. Savion Draco Zero. What's good with it, bro? My man DC Precise. We got AB Promotions. Shout out to AB. We got Val Williams in the building. Shout out to my man Cannon Hotep. We got Shamika Gray in the house. Black Spider. We got, I think that's it. Deneen. We got Deneen Grant in the building. Shout out to Deneen. We got Patricia Slade, B1. And that's it. So shout out. Good to see everybody. All right. It's good to see each and every one of you all. So we're going to get into what happened with Joe Biden and Eric Adams at the White House. All right. I'm going to try to get through this stream as quick as possible so that I could possibly get another one done. I may or may not be able to, but make sure that you guys watch this stream all the way through to the end. Shout out to the replay gang because it's going to take you right into Crimecast for tomorrow morning. That's right. Crimecast is coming back and it's starting back tomorrow morning. All right. So there is a YouTuber, and let me see. I forgot what this dude's name is. We reacted to his videos before. Oh, yeah. His name is Cash Jordan. How many people ever heard of Cash Jordan? If you guys ever heard of Cash Jordan, give me a thumbs up. If you guys have not, then give me a thumbs down. And Cash Jordan has recently been doing like some on-site journalism type videos from his perspective, looking at the migrant crisis and what's going on in New York City. He just recently put up a video, and this video talks about the migrant situation in the winter, because that's one of the big things that everybody's worried about is, oh my God, these people about to freeze to death. It's about to get real out here. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what they're about to do. It's about to be bad. So we're going to look at that and get a visual idea of what it's looking like out there. All right. After that, we're going to talk about a local nonprofit that's not in New York that is dealing with Haitian migrants. And then we're going to get into the Eric Adams issues. Shout out to Vega. What's good with it, Vega? All right, so let's get it. We're going to check this out real quick.
You see that long line right there that goes around the corner? This line is here because people are waiting for shelter beds, but there aren't any left.
For almost a week, there's been a line outside the reticketing center in the East Village with hundreds of migrants waiting to reapply for a shelter bed.
On a cold, rainy December night, desperation for warmth and shelter could...
So check this out, right? Imagine this situation where you're in New York City, and New York City is already crowded already. Shout out to the people that's in the building that are from New York, that have lived in New York, that's in or around New York Metro. Y'all can vouch for me on this. New York is already jam tight. It's a big area, but it's already packed, like congested. Imagine already being congested like that with migrants on top of that congestion and the migrants themselves being congested. That's what we're looking at right now. So the issue is that it's going to cause more issues there than just the resource drain. It's going to cause transportation issues. The healthcare systems are going to be packed. There's going to be even more of a strain on what's trying to be done to take care of the homeless. This is just going to be a hot mess. And again, the really overwhelming issue is that there's no end to this in sight. The only person that can put an end to this is Joe Biden. And Joe Biden is not even looking like he's going to attempt to put an end to this. Shout out to Lloyd Sky 9 and shout out to Soapbox Moments. What's good with y'all?
could be seen in the East Village.
You got your passport stolen.
Yeah. The city has said for some time now it's simply running out of room and resources.
Community organizations handed out hot meals, and cell phone videos show codes being given out, at times being thrown into a second floor window.
Do not scapegoat right to shelter. Admit that you failed in providing the housing that this city needed.
New York is in a very tough position right now.
Just consider this. Last week alone, 3,600 new migrants came to New York City, and most, if not all, will need a place to live at least temporarily.
3,600 people a week. That's 14,000 people a month, all coming here.
36,000 people. And again, remember, this is just New York City. There's places like this all over the United States that are getting hit hard with these migrants. Like I said, these buses are just coming from all over. Then they got the ghost buses that we talked about on Undocumented. And again, there's no end to this in sight. The only person that can stop this is Joe Biden. And it does not look like Joe Biden is going to budge on this issue at all. So I want to ask you guys this question. For people who are really invested in this migrant issue, if you really feel that this is a huge problem that's going to cause you a significant issue with your life going forward, moving into 2024, who are people eyeing as a candidate that they might be interested in supporting? Let me know in the comment section. And yeah, shout out to Vega. Vega says, sounds like a massive invasion. I don't know if you checked out the 2 videos on the Undocumented channel, but if you check out the most recent live stream on the Undocumented channel, there's a segment where they show an infrared vision of all of the migrants literally climbing over the wall. It looks crazy. How many people saw that on Undocumented? We talked about that and we watched that video. The infrared image of them flooding the border wall and climbing over it and then just running towards the gate is insane. That is a scary image, and it absolutely looks like an invasion.
By bus from the southern border. And look at these temperatures. It's freezing in New York right now. Some people thought the cold weather would impact the number of folks seeking asylum, but this unfortunate crisis shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. And at the heart of it all are New York City's right to shelter rules. These go back to the 1980s when a judge ordered the city to temporarily shelter anyone who requested it. And
now the thing is, right, and we've talked about this, and we're going to go back to this. This is one of the reasons why it's so important. If you're asking for legislation or you're trying to put legislation in place, you have to make it extremely specific. You have to make this legislation so specific that there's no possible way that any air can escape from it. I guarantee you that when this right to shelter law took place, this right to shelter law was not made with the intention on servicing a migrant crisis. I guarantee you that this right to shelter law was made with the intention on servicing homeless people, homeless American citizens, not non-taxpayers, not people coming in from a different country illegally. If you guys agree with my logic on that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with my logic on that, give me a thumbs down. What needs to happen is they need to take that right to shelter law back to court. And they need to take that right to shelter law back to court when they can get some conservative judges in the New York Supreme Court, in the New York Circuit Courts, in the New York Appellate Courts, because those judges are not going to have any of that BS. Now we're keeping it real. We all know that there's no allies or anything like that. But if you understand how politics works, there's no conservative judges that are going to stand by this misinterpretation of this law, this purposeful misinterpretation of the law. So if they want to get this law out of there, the best thing that I could suggest is that New York City, when it's time for the judges to be voted back in, y'all got to get some conservative judges in there. Because liberal judges are not only going to keep this kind of policy, they're going to expand on it to make it take in even more people. A damn UFO could land in the middle of New York City, and you have Kathy Hochul saying, well, we got to house them, and we got to terraform someplace, and we got to provide them with an atmosphere, and we got to provide them with some type of carbohydrates that's favorable to their metabolism. They come with all kinds of nonsense. And the thing is that I'm not sitting up here saying that, people shouldn't have the right to be safe or be in from the cold, but you do not sacrifice the people that feed you, because the population feeds these government employees, to house people that haven't contributed to anything. You don't do it. You don't do it. Now, that scenario that I just gave, right? That sounds funny, right? It sounds funny. But if some aliens came from a planet and that planet was made out of solid gold, right? If these aliens that lived on this planet shit gold was their waste metabolism product, and somebody got wind of that on the United States from the United States would allow these aliens to do whatever the hell that they wanted as long as they gave us a constant influx of gold. Bag it up, put it in a bag, bring it down every time you come down, because that's how this stuff works. They do these trades and they do this shady politics, and they do it for resources. They do it for money. That's one of the reasons why the lobbyists have more power than the voters. That's one of the reasons why $1, $1,000, $1 million is more powerful than a vote. You know what I'm saying? And that right there is one of the reasons why I tell people politics is fine, but extra political means are the only, I would say, 85% guaranteed way that you'll be able to have the influence that you want to have. You know what I'm saying? At least make an impression. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to John Guillory. What's good with it, bro? If you guys agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to my man, Deformed Pretty Boy. What's good with it, bro?
Problem now is that every shelter the city has, even the former airfield, which is now a large disaster relief center at Floyd Bennett Field with showers and an outdoor building, they're all at capacity. There's no more room.
City officials say almost 150,000 asylum seekers have come to New York City seeking shelter since last spring.
And this is straining every resource the city has, so much so that the mayor has ordered all city agencies to cut their budgets drastically. This is going to impact the fire department, the police department, schools, and sadly, it's also going to mean less food for food pantries during the wintertime. And that's because over the next 2 years, it's estimated New York is going to spend $12 billion addressing this crisis. And crisis is the
$12 billion. So imagine this. Every time New York City makes a budget, and they make a budget for, you know, going into next year and the year after next, they're already $12 billion in the negative. Imagine anytime you opened up your checkbook and you started your checkbook balance out, not at zero, not at what you just got paid, but at minus $12 billion. That's what's going on in New York City right now. So my question is, if every time they open up their checkbook in New York City and they start out at $12 billion, how are they going to be able to divvy out resources to the appropriate parties in New York? And here's another question. Do the residents have a right to gripe? And the reason why I ask if the residents have a right to gripe is because what there should be is there should be some type of threshold and some type of accounting for what's being spent. And there should be a weighted average of how money is spent on what constituents. And regardless of how you calculate it, if you ask me, the residents of New York City are getting the bad end of the deal, because there's no possible calculation, no possible way that you could calculate all the money that's being spent out and say that the residents of New York City are even benefiting from 50% of the money that's spent out. What I want to ask you guys this: out of all the money that the taxpayers in New York pay, what percentage do you all think is reinvested back into them and back into New York City to improve New York City's condition? If you look, the taxpayers are paying more money. And as you can see, what this guy just said and what we've talked about in multiple news reports before this, they're slashing the budgets. They're cutting education. They're cutting the fire department. They're cutting police. You know what I'm saying? And listen, shout out to Lloyd Scott 9. Lloyd Scott 9 must be back here in my StreamYards studio and know what we about to talk about next after we get done with this video. Lloyd Scott 9 said, New York is a mecca. Why would you trash it like this? Facts. Facts. We are definitely going to get into that as soon as we get done with this video. And shout out to B1 First. What's good with it, bro?
The only way to describe the lines of people who were waiting in the cold for beds in shelters that weren't available this past week.
For almost a week, this has been the scene. Hundreds of migrants sleeping outside.
Yeah, I agree 100%. They're sidestepping the issue. You know what I'm saying? They're sidestepping the issue. Deneen says media isn't pressing Biden on this massive issue. No one is questioning him. That's facts. You can't even get to him to question him. Eric Adams just recently went down to Washington, D.C. to try to have a face-to-face with Joe Biden, and he couldn't even get in touch with him. Couldn't even touch him. Couldn't even reach him. You see on the thumbnail, he had the two Border Patrol agents guarding the border of the White House so nobody can get in and talk to him. You know what I'm saying? If you guys agree with what Deneen is saying here, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree with what Deneen's saying, give me a thumbs down and let me know what y'all think.
This site in the East Village. Once adult migrants have been living in a shelter for 30 days, they have to come here to reapply for a shelter bed.
So the shelter population in New York City has grown to over 100.
Shout out to Canon Hotep. Hotep's been told y'all. You know what I'm saying? Hotep's been told y'all. Canon said, I told y'all they were going to make it legal to hire illegals. Yeah, facts, for multiple different kind of jobs. The next thing that's coming is they're going to give them the ability to vote. Here's my question. At what point is there no line drawn between the rights of a citizen and the rights of a random? We're going to call these people randoms. We're going to call them undocumented bros. At what point is there a benefit of even being a citizen? The benefit of being the citizen is that you have rights and privileges that randoms and undocumented bros don't have. So at the point where the privileges and the rights begin to converge, what's the damn difference? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mind Games Uncut. And if there's no difference, you got to ask ourselves the question, well, what's the purpose of us paying tax money then? Why do we have to pay out all this tax money? They get to stack their tax money, get rebates from our tax money, build businesses, and then stick their noses up at us and say that Americans are lazy and that we don't work hard. What's up with that? Somebody make that make sense.
120,000 people, half of which are here seeking asylum. And right here, this is the St. Bridget Academy. This is where people who have lost their stay in a shelter have to go to reapply for it. The long lines that we're seeing here at this facility, which go around the corner, are what elected officials have been predicting, because the city's been saying for months that shelter beds are in short supply. Back in September, the city instituted 30-day limits on shelter stays for single adults. And sadly, after 30 days expire, you've got to come here to this reticketing center where you've got two options. Option number one is to wait in line indefinitely to see if a shelter bed opens up. And option number two is to accept a plane ticket that'll take you anywhere you want in the world. But even
now, here's my question. Who's paying for those plane tickets? Shout out to Ty. What's good with it, bro? Who's paying for those plane tickets? Regardless how you cut this, you know what I'm saying? Regardless how you cut this, the taxpayers are the ones who are paying the majority of the costs when it comes to this situation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Facts, Cannon. Shout out to my man KO Kid Fit. You know what I'm saying? He said, I see you on that Cash Jordan grift. Bro, you already know, bro, Cash Jordan is about to get ran through like 5 different channels, bro. You already know we finna get on him on Reacts. And speaking of which, shout out to my man KO Kid Fit, man. You know what I'm saying? For, you know what I'm saying, us having a successful channel, you know what I'm saying, the Reacts podcast. And we're getting close to that 1,000 subscribers. We had a great show last night. You know what I'm saying? Love working with KO Kid Fit, man. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? One of the good things about being on YouTube is, you know what I'm saying, when you meet people that are really cool, that you build relationships with, you know what I'm saying? And that defines me and KO Kid Fit, and me and a bunch of other people too, TD, Torian, Kid Gravity, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to my man KO Kid Fit, man, because we grifted it up over there on Reacts, you know what I'm saying? If y'all not subscribed over there, make sure y'all do.
as New York's weather takes a turn for the worse, the tickets have only been popular with about 10% of the people that arrive at this facility, which must mean there's a compelling reason to stay in New York City, even under these tough conditions.
We have a lot of people here sleeping on the floor in the night. It's so cold. No food, no nothing.
Al-Mustafa is one of several migrants who spent time camped out on the sidewalk in front of the old St.
Yo, real quick, if one of the mods could drop the... if one of the mods could do me 2 favors. If one of the mods could drop the link for Canon Hotep's channel, and if one of the mods could drop the link for Reacts into the chat, I would appreciate it. Make sure y'all sub to these 2 links that's about to get dropped in the chat. And shout out to Miss May Lynn. What's good with it? Good to have you in here.
Bridget School.
So this poor gentleman, he's in the same position as many asylum seekers. It's freezing cold out right now. Beds are in short supply. And as you can see, the lines here today are very long. And the only way to get one of the beds is to be one of the first people in line at this facility when it opens. And that's why so many people are risking everything, spend so much time out in the cold, waiting to just get inside this facility and see if there are any resources left to help. Also, many of the people here are from climates that are much warmer than New York City. And in Venezuela,
see, that's what I'm saying. So again, and we asked this question on Undocumented the other day, right? If you're coming from a climate that is hot, then you got to ask yourself the question, there's multiple different places, right? Because these people are not even using efficient logistics with their choices of going to a sanctuary city. Why would you go to New York or Chicago if you're not, you know what I'm saying, tolerant of that type of temperature? You got the option to go to California. You got the option to go somewhere in Texas. Why is it that they go to those places? Does it make that make sense? And shout out to Lloyd Sky 9 and John Guillory for putting those links into the chat. Why do they do that? And I gotta agree. If you guys agree with Deformed Pretty Boy, citizens need to apply pressure. Let them know that you are not cool with them here. Facts. And I definitely agree with you, bro. It's absolutely because of the money. That's one of the reasons. That is one of the reasons why in all of these live streams that we've done and all of this deep dive and dissection of research, we've always found complaints of shady business practices when it comes to this. In San Diego, in Chicago, in New York, everybody has an issue with transparency and spending being able to be seen. They have to file multiple FOIA reports to get the documents. You know what I'm saying? You go and interview the places, they won't talk to you. They being uncooperative. Brandon Johnson and Eric Adams both have been accused of shady business dealings. It's because of the money. Money, 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 money. Money.
This past week, temperatures got down into the 60s, which is much warmer than it is in New York, even during the daytime. But sadly, the freezing cold temperatures at this facility aren't the only problem these folks are dealing with.
His stuff was stolen while on the streets.
I have my paper there, my passport.
So you got your passport stolen?
Yeah.
Man, that's so tough. You're out here waiting in the freezing cold. You have nothing, and then the little that you have gets taken away. And it's not like the folks who are here can just get jobs and replace all their lost stuff. And that's because federal...
I'm not trying to be funny, but they actually can just get jobs and replace their stuff. These people have literally been. Listen, let me ask you this: if you came into the country illegally, what's going to stop you from working illegally? Come on, man. Like, let's not act like we don't know what time it is. If you came in, so you mean to tell me that you're going to commit this one crime of coming into the country illegally, and then you're going to stop and immediately turn your life around? I'm going to stop after I do this one last thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm done. Some people got to have it. Some people really need it. Oh, man. Money, 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 money. Money. Do-do, 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 do-do. Oh, man. But listen, though, man, for real, I want y'all to just sit back and think about that logic. You have broken serious laws to come into the country. I'm supposed to assume that your propensity to break the law and not care is going to stop at crossing the border. That's what I'm supposed to assume. I'm going to assume that that's the last crime you ever going to commit. The free cars, facts, AB. Shout out to Mimi McCoy, B1. What's good with it? There's nothing guaranteeing that that's going to be the case. You know what I'm saying?
Law doesn't let you start working as soon as you get here. You first have to apply for asylum, and then you can submit paperwork for work authorization. It all has to get done at the same time, and you can't do one ahead of the other. And without work authorization, working a popular delivery style job like Uber Eats or Grubhub isn't on the table. But sadly, it seems like this is just the beginning.
But the thing is that these people are, listen, how many people have heard of those situations in New York and Chicago where those bikes that they just showed, those little mopeds, those bikes are being stolen? And they're being stolen, and there's just all kinds of issues with those food delivery bikes outside of migrant shelters. Have you guys heard any stories like that? If you guys heard stories about that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't hear stories about that, give me a thumbs down. Who do y'all think is stealing them damn bikes? You know what I'm saying? They just getting randomly parked outside of migrant shelters. That's because they stole the damn bike and then parked it back at their crib because they know in a sanctuary city, the law is not going to intervene. These people have they have immunity from the law as a result of things like the Safety Act. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, real talk, Retro Gemini. Facts. Retro Gemini says, what's up, Black Light Revelation? Hope your day goes well. You too, bro. Meanwhile, U.S. citizens with multiple college degrees can barely find decent paying jobs to make a living. Facts. Everybody that's still living at home with their mom, everyone that's at home with their mom isn't a loser. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's not a loser. Some of those people actually can't find jobs. Some of those people actually are just stuck. All them people that got that kind of issue that still staying at home with their mom, some of them, you know what I'm saying? There's a reason why they're like that. But then others of them, they've gotten a bad shake from society. You know what I'm saying? And they're getting passed up and left behind. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, like I know, I've been there. I've been one of them people. You know what I'm saying? I had to go to school for multiple degrees to be able to actually get a decent paying career, which I'm not even using the other education that I got before. And I didn't get no degrees in subjects like psychology or subject like flower studies or, you know what I'm saying, botany mastery and stuff like that. I got an actual functional degree, 2 of them, you know what I'm saying? And I was locked out of the industry. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 53 people watching. If everybody could take a moment and smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell and shared the stream to your social media, please make sure you guys hit the bell and share the stream to your social media. And let's try to hit that goal of 200 likes.
And things could soon get even worse.
These 2 men from Venezuela say they have been applying for a shelter bed for 3 days now, returning each day to see if a bed is open.
So the city doesn't want people sleeping on the streets, which is incredibly dangerous. And luckily, they found a facility where people can go to stay warm while they wait for this facility to reopen. But the problem is it's in the Bronx, which is over an hour away from where this place is. And unfortunately, people are stuck making trips back and forth multiple days in a row. Now, when the city originally opened this facility a month ago, it was hoped that the free plane tickets would be more popular than they are. But even though they might not be working out as well as the city has hoped, apparently only 20% of the folks whose shelter stays expire end up at this facility asking for another placement. And many asylum seekers say they'd rather stay at a decommissioned airfield out in Brooklyn than end up having to leave the city. And that seems to have caught the city by surprise.
As we watched more migrants arrive, Mustafa says he's been bounced between here and a Brooklyn location, with nobody from the city seeming to be able to help him.
It's a very sad situation.
Man, that dude's name is Mustafa. I just want y'all to sit back and let that marinate. Homeboy's name is Mustafa. Y'all remember Colonel Mustafa? Wasn't he a wrestler in the WWF? There's nobody that has a good reputation, like that's publicly known, whose name is Mustafa. Wasn't that wasn't that that lion on the line? No, that was Uncle Scar. I was about to say somebody was Mustafa though. Who was Mustafa in one of them damn Disney movies that had the animals? There's no one that's named Mustafa that's up to anything good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was the Lion King's dad. Okay. He might be the only one. You know what I'm saying? But aside from Lion King's dad, I don't know one Mustafa that's up to anything good. I'm just saying. Everybody whose name is Mustafa has a thick mustache and is really shady. You know what I'm saying?
But to him and many of the folks that are here waiting in line, the worst thing that they could do would actually be to accept one of the plane tickets and leave New York City. They think it's better to stay here.
Oh yeah, hey! Shout out to Teresa. Yeah, you're right. It's Mufasa, not Mustafa. It's Mufasa. I'm talking about Mustafa. I'm talking about them cats that was with Sergeant Slaughter in the WWF. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember them cats that was with Sergeant Slaughter in the WWF? Oh man, shout out to Philip Goodman. What's good with it, bro? Mustafa is a Middle Eastern name. Let that sink in. Facts. It's not just a Middle Eastern name. It's like a Middle Eastern terrorizing name. Like it's a dude that's always walking around with a rusty AK. It's rusty too. You know what I'm saying? Not only will them bullets hit you, you will get tetanus from them too. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of stuff you're dealing with when you deal with a Mustafa.
So official statistics say that about 5,500 people have gone through that facility in the East Village, but only 10%
Shout
of
out
them,
to Jerry
570
Bedford. What's
people,
good
have
with it, bro?
accepted the free flights out of New York. Apparently, the concern is that if people leave New York where they've already requested asylum and applied for work authorization, if they leave here and go to another city, they're going to have to start all over from scratch and fill out all the same applications again. On top of that, they'll be in another unfamiliar city, which may not be as accommodating as New York City. And to many people, unknown conditions elsewhere are potentially much worse. And waiting in the cold here in New York for a few days to see if
I mean, but doesn't the same apply if you're leaving your country? Unknown conditions elsewhere are worse. Okay, guess what? You just pulled up in New York and the unknown conditions there are worse. Like, why doesn't that logic apply to your judgment of coming here? Like, how come you didn't make that? Like, so wait a minute. You mean to tell me that you're going to come all the way from South Central America, go up the Darien Gap, and then when you get to New York City, you scared to go somewhere else in the United States, but you across 2 continents and the whole hemisphere, and you okay with it? But you're not going to go a couple states over in the United States? Man, stop, man. Stop it, man. Stop it. I want to let me ask y'all this question. Is the logic that I'm assessing these arguments with making any sense? Because the thing is that it's just blatantly obvious that these are excuses. None of the logic that these people have with any of these rebuttals or any of these answers or any of these justifications that they have for what they're doing or why they're doing it make any sense. Yeah. Shout out to John Guillory. Stop the cap. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get that. I gotta get that sound bite from. I steal that from Fresh and Fit one of these days.
What kind of shit is that?
The concern is that if people leave New York where they've already requested asylum and applied for work authorization, if they leave here and go to another city, they're going to have to start all over from scratch and fill out all the same applications again. On top of that, they'll be in another unfamiliar city, which may not be as accommodating as New York City. And to many people, unknown conditions elsewhere are potentially much worse. And waiting in the cold here in New York for a few days to see if a bed opens up. Still, the city of New York says that more than 50% of the people who enter the shelter system move on to other accommodations when their stay's finished. And I didn't know this, but apparently the risk of change.
You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. Hey, is AV Promotions lying? Anyone named Mustafa is up to something nefarious. Bro, something bad nefarious. I have a nuclear weapon in my trunk. Like shit like that. Excuse me? You're not parked next to me, are you? I have a nuclear warhead in my trunk. Yeah, I'm good on that.
Changing your address during an asylum application process is that you've then got to update that, and all the paperwork can get screwed up. You could get denied if your address changes, and you don't properly go about adjusting that while your application is happening. And that's why once you're here and you get started, it probably makes more sense to stay than it does to leave. And for many folks, the process of getting work authorization can take 6 months. You don't want it to take longer than that. But the big question now is what's going to happen to families who are here with kids in a local school system? Because pretty soon, families that are in the shelter system are going to be in the same position as single adults. And
well, how many people heard about the air condition crisis at the New York City schools? And shout out to Ty. You know what I'm saying? Ty said, I'm in Harlem and there's so much gentrification happening already and already placed immigrants here that no one seems to be in an uproar like Chicago. Bro, why? Let me ask you this question. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? I want to ask y'all that in the comment section. Why do y'all think that is? Because it does seem like Chicago is one of the only places where people are really, you know what I'm saying, really going in about it. Yo, Bet Deformed. I don't know if you got Twitter or if you got Discord or if you like what kind of other social media you got. But if you're on Discord, hit that link that's in the chat and join the Discord that we got. Or you can hit me up on Twitter or hit me up on Facebook and shoot me them clips. And we'll definitely, you know what I'm saying, definitely they coming out. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna definitely run them.
Just saw how well that's working out. And now that the city's shelters are completely full, the Adams administration is in court right now.
Oh, you got Twitter? All right, bro. My Twitter is @BaseReality2. Shout out to Jacoby. What's good with it? Now, see, here go the thing, right? And Jacoby and Patricia both, they said that New York is full of immigrants And New York has a lot of foreigners, and they're scared to complain. Y'all see how them foreigners in Brighton Park in Chicago turned up? They need that. Them foreigners in New York City, they need to get their Brighton Park energy popping off.
Trying to get the right to shelter rules amended so that they no longer apply the same way that they used to. And this could put families in jeopardy. And people are scared to see how that's going to play out.
Shout out to Ty. Ty is from Detroit. And see, like, Detroit is real similar to Cleveland, like the Midwest, for real. Like, people always talk about like the South and all that, and like the South is cool, but for real, like the Midwest, like the actual Midwest, like the Steel Belt, you know what I'm saying? Buffalo, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, you know what I'm saying? St. Louis, Missouri, you know what I'm saying? Detroit. Those are the real like FBA places. I mean, it is like a bunch of black people in the South, like I get it, but like the real like FBA shit is in the Midwest. Don't let nobody fool you. You know what I'm saying? You can grow in the Midwest is like the only place where you can grow up in neighborhoods that's all black and you will never come in contact with, you know what I'm saying, a non-FBA black person, or even really for real, a lot of immigrants. As far as like anything else go, like California, New York City, even in the South, like I don't know about none of that. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that, you know what I'm saying, I grew up in the Midwest. And the city that I grew up in was 97% black people, and it was 97% FBA black people. Wasn't nobody in that bad boy like non-FBA. And that's not saying anything about non-FBA people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, see, and that's just what I'm talking about. Ty know what I'm talking about. If you from Detroit, if you from Detroit, if you from Buffalo, if you from Pittsburgh, if you from St. Louis, Missouri, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about as far as the Midwest go. You know what I'm saying? The Midwest, you will have like actual black foundational black American collard greens, sweet potato pie, you know what I'm saying, grits in the morning neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying, not like the black diversity intersectionality shit that you see on the East Coast, in some places in the South, and you know what I'm saying, on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? You get like shit like Gary, Indiana, like places like that. You know what I'm saying? All y'all gotta do is just go and look up the population demographics of a lot of those Midwestern cities, the Steel Belt cities, and it'll tell you. You know what I'm saying?
At Bowling Green today, a number of groups rallied to ensure that the city continues to shelter those in need, a guarantee established more than 40 years ago.
It is, in fact, Right to Shelter Day.
So that rally was recently held in support of the city.
So do y'all see how they're finessing that right to shelter law? If you guys see how they're finessing that right to shelter law, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't see how they're doing that, then give me a thumbs down. If you ask me, they're dead wrong for the way they're opportunizing that right to shelter law. It, to me, is very blatantly, obviously common sense that law is not made to deal with a massive crisis to where it would displace other citizens. Shout out to Pat. See, shout out to the Midwest. All the Midwest people validating what I'm saying. I'm from Detroit, and we didn't have these damn immigrant issues. Yeah, nah, you don't. Not in the Steel Belt, you ain't gonna see too much of that. You know what I'm saying? That's like coastal, southern, and you know what I'm saying, coastal, southern, and border state issues, not Steel Belt issues. You talk to anybody from Cleveland, you know what I'm saying, Youngstown, Detroit, Michigan, you know what I'm saying, like I said, St. Louis, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, they go all tell you the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Edward Berry. You know what I'm saying? Edward said, "You're right, Rob. There were 0 immigrants that we came in contact with besides shop owners in Detroit." Yeah, you'll have like maybe like 1 or 2. It'll be some, you know what I'm saying, some foreigners that own a gas station, or some foreigners that own a deli or a sandwich shop or something, but it's not no neighborhoods full. And if it is neighborhoods full, it'll be like one neighborhood surrounded by a whole, like the rest of the city is all FBA. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Charles. What's good with it, bro? And Retro said, just think about how many spies have mixed in with the immigrant crowd. Bro, that's what I was talking about. Did you see on the border, they just recently apprehended, I believe, 20 Chinese nationals, and they also found some Iranians that were down there. How many people heard about that? If y'all heard about that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all didn't hear about that, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to TD Hip Hop Media. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my bad. Let me say his name right. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to TD Media Group, parentheses, formerly known, quote unquote, as TD Hip Hop Media. You know what I'm saying? Formerly known as. He's at Prince status. You know what I'm saying? In a minute, he's gonna change his name to a symbol. Oh man. Shout out to TD though. What's good with it, bro? Yeah, man, that's wild, man. The steel belt is definitely where it's at. And I'm gonna tell you what else. If you want to afford life, the steel belt is also where it's at. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not paying no high ass California prices. I'm not paying no high ass New York prices. I'm not paying no high ass down south prices. Bro, I'm paying these Midwest drug addict prices. That's all I'm ever gonna pay. I'm not going nowhere else and paying no crazy $2,000 and $3,000 a month rent. That's insane.
City's right to shelter rules, which the mayor and the governor are in court right now trying to have amended. Right now, the city's right to shelter accommodations are being applied to everybody, but city officials want to have those rules adjusted so that they don't apply in circumstances like what the city is facing today.
Brooklyn
and the folks
Queen.
rallying in favor of maintaining right to shelter say that the rules aren't the problem. The city's implementation of those rules is the problem. And they say that the city could be doing a better job with the resources that it has to help the folks who are here right now.
Do not scapegoat right to shelter. Admit that you failed in providing the housing that this city needed.
So that was New York City's public advocate, Jamani Williams.
Another thing is, I think that those right to shelter laws had to do with people from the city who were homeless. Like, how are you supposed to shelter an influx, a never-ending influx of people coming into the city, and also continue to deal with your own native homeless population? See, shout out to Deneen. I'm not mad at that at all. That's big facts. Yo, Deneen, Denise, did you ever go and gamble at Mountaineer? I went to Mountaineer a couple years back. Exactly. Facts. Right to shelter was originally meant for the native homeless population. I agree 100%, bro. I agree 100%. If you guys agree with TD, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, again, in my opinion, they need to get that law reinterpreted. They need to take that back to court. And when they take it back to court, they need to have it where a conservative judge is doing the interpretation, because no liberal judge is going to rule that the way that it needs to be ruled in order to protect the city. You know what I'm saying?
Williams. According to Wikipedia, he's a member of the Democratic Party and a self-described democratic socialist. Now, he's held a position of public advocate since 2019.
Oh, there you go. So there you go. Look, I want y'all to pay close attention to what the democratic socialist advocate is doing. Now, this is the kind of person that Fox News will weaponize. They'll weaponize this Democrat socialist babble, put this dude in front of the camera and say, this is black people's advocate. This is what those Coach purse-skinned news anchors on Fox will do. You know what I'm saying? That's what they'll do. Don't nobody know who the hell this individual is. Let me ask y'all this. How many of y'all are rocking with this dude? If y'all rocking with him, give me a thumbs up. If y'all not rocking with him, give me a thumbs down. I don't even know who homeboy is. But you will have on Fox News, when they have an interview with this individual, for him to get just completely obliterated by some college professor who works for a white supremacist think tank, and they had this dude arguing with nonsensical Justice Democrat talking points. Laura Ingraham will give him all of the titles to where the audience will make them think, oh, this is the Negro Whisperer, because that's what they do. That's what they do. And they do it shamefully.
In providing the housing that this city needed.
So that was New York City's public advocate, Jumaane Williams. According to Wikipedia, he's a member of the Democratic Party and a self-described democratic socialist. Now, he's held the position of public advocate since 2019, and that position...
Facts. You guys see what TD said? Look at how he has a D next to his name, and he doesn't even hold a public office. Exactly. Exactly. Make that make sense. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to everybody that's watching. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell and subscribe to the channel, please take a moment, hit the bell and subscribe to the channel. And also, please share the stream to your social media. If you guys pay close attention, you see YouTube is already on some nonsense. But it is what it is. We're going to push through it anyway.
Was created as a liaison between the local government and the voters. And should the mayor of New York resign for any reason, the public advocate is next in line for the throne. Former public advocates include Mayor Bill de Blasio and the current Attorney General. But it remains to be seen what resources the city has left to help those who are in need. And the city's facing a $12 billion budget deficit, and the mayor has asked all city agencies to cut their spending. And that's because by law, New York City has to operate with a balanced budget. And spending more money on one thing means there's now less money to spend on other things. So cuts have to happen so everything balances out.
So that means that if they spend all that money on the migrant crisis, then they're going to cut a lot of the money that they're spending on citizens. Let me ask you guys this. Is that fair? That's an easy question, right? Is that fair?
And apparently the cuts have already led to reduced staffing at some firehouses, which means there are now less resources to respond in the event of an emergency. Other city leaders have proposed raising taxes and fees to help cover the budget gap. And to some people, this might make it seem like New York City is falling apart and won't be around forever. But to many folks who are here seeking asylum, New York City is still their preferred destination and their best shot at achieving a better future.
Now, here goes my question. Why? Why? That's my question. I want to know what you guys think about why New York City would be somebody's best choice and best destination to achieve a better future. Now, again, you're not supposed to be leaving your country to achieve a better future. That's called moving. These people are coming here to get asylum as if they're being prosecuted as a result of violence or crimes against them. Where is the violence or the crimes against these people that's happening? How come none of these people have any stories about any of the violence or crime that's happening to them? And they keep talking about these people are families. How do you know that somebody's a family if they don't have any documents? How do you not know that these male-female couples with these kids that come up here isn't just a disguised unit that was put together to make them look like a family? There's no marriage documents. There's no marriage license. There's no record of anything. How are we supposed to know? Seriously, I want to know what you guys think. All of those things that I just asked, how are we supposed to know?
This young family calls the Roosevelt Hotel home for now. 53, he says, explaining how many days they have left until they have to leave. A little worried.
How do we know that they're actually a family? There's nothing that can verify that these people are a family.
Tells us as he thinks about all the uncertainty they're facing.
So this family is staying here at the Roosevelt Hotel for the next 53 days before their shelter stay expires. This is a former luxury hotel built in 1928, and it's got 1,300 rooms. And when their shelter stay expires, they and the other families that are here will have to go to that re-ticketing facility. But still, as tough as living in a New York City shelter can be, the conditions here are preferable to the situations many asylum seekers have fled. And if you're wondering...
Like what? What's it like? Okay, so here's my question for everybody in the comment section. Like, what situations that these people have fled? How is freezing outside in the cold preferable to some situation? Let me ask you guys this. If you were behind on your bills, would you be in a better position if you were behind on your bills and chilling locked inside of a freezer? Like, how does that change anything? Seriously. Oh, yeah, he's definitely a supporter. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely a supporter. But we can still ask these questions, though, because he should have to answer these questions. And the thing is that when you're seeking asylum, me and TD had this conversation. There's types of asylum that you file for. And those types of asylum that you file for are based on specific displacing and traumatic issues that occurred in your country of origin. Which means that all of these people who are coming to the United States should be able to reference a specific event that caused them to have to leave. This is how it is. I'm telling y'all. Y'all can go to the U.S. Customs and Border Immigration Services website and look this up. There's a kind of asylum that's called NACARA, and it covers a bunch of different countries. Some of them are Central American countries. Some of them are Eastern European countries. And each of them goes into what specific details and what specific events justify the asylum seeking. None of these people, when they're interviewed, ever talk about that. All they say is that they're looking for a job. If you're looking for a job, you need to get on Career Builder. But they come into the United States because they know that the Democrat Party is life builders.
Why all these mopeds are here, asylum seekers will rent them out because they can get one from somebody who already has an app set up with Uber. Now, the largest group of asylum seekers that's come here is from Venezuela. And sadly, people there only make around $140 a month, less than $2,000 a year. And when you consider how little that is, it makes perfect sense why so many are desperate to make the journey here for a better opportunity.
They went through 8 countries before crossing the U.S.-Mexico border into Texas.
They're committing a crime. Let me ask you guys this. Do y'all feel that these people that illegally cross the border should get the same kind of treatment as people that illegally smoked crack during the crack era? Now, this is actually causing an epidemic. This is actually causing an issue with the United States. My question is, what did people smoking crack cause in the United States besides providing the government with tons of money? This is actually putting a strain on resources. And this isn't being dealt with in the same way that the crack epidemic was being dealt with.
Texas. Touching American soil was the goal, he explains, but the destination was always New York.
So I want y'all, this is his wife right here. You know what I'm saying? Hold on real quick. I want y'all to look at this.
Border into Texas. Touching American soil was the goal, he explains, but the destination.
So you mean to tell me you crossed the Darien Gap with them jeans on? You crossed the Darien Gap in those jeans? Man, stop it. I bet you need more help putting them tight-ass jeans on than you needed to get across the Darien Gap. Look at how these people are dressed is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Man, stop it, man. Unbelievable.
Nation was always New York City.
Look. Between swinging from vines and dodging snakes, you was doing OnlyFans shoots. I'm trying to tell y'all, man, peep game. It don't even make sense. I would believe you even more. I would actually not even say this kind of stuff if you was wearing yoga pants and a sports bra, because at least that's some athletic stuff. At least that's some athletic stuff that's flexible, you know what I'm saying, for comfort.
Now, in spite of the cold weather, from the perspective of many asylum seekers, New York City is probably the best option because of its unique right to shelter rules. Other parts of the country don't have that. And once you got a place to live, you can apply for work authorization and for asylum. And if you have kids, they can enroll in a school. And in spite of the weather, which is only going to get worse, the people coming to New York City think it's their only hope. But the one part of the story we don't know yet is what's going to happen to families like those inside the Roosevelt Hotel once the 60-day shelter stays expire. Are they really going to have to go to that reticketing center, or will something else be done? Although we don't know the answer to that yet, apparently half the beds in the Floyd Bennett Field facility are empty right now, and they're being reserved for families. And even though those accommodations are very...
No, they're empty because there are no families. That's why they're empty. He said that they're empty because they're being reserved for families. No, they're empty because they're not families. The reports have come out that show that most of the people that are coming up over the border is overwhelming majority of adult single-age males. They're not empty because they're for families or because there's a hold on them because they're for families. They're empty for them because there's not that many families coming up. There's adult-aged males coming up, adult-aged, military-age, single males. Now, I want y'all to pay very close attention, right? All these people keep coming out saying that we're a country of immigrants. And the problem is that there's a whole population of people here in the United States, which is us, foundational Black Americans, American descendants of slaves, Native Black Americans, who are not immigrants, which means that what they're saying is that they see a future of America without us. They sit up here calling New York City the new Ellis Island, migrant influx tests, New York City's humanitarian ideals. The fact that New York City allowed this migrant crisis to break its back on the behalf of the migrants should answer any questions that anybody has to ask about New York City's humanitarian ideals. What else do they expect New York City to do? They've already broken their backs and are not even accommodating the taxpayers. What else is supposed to be done? That's my question, y'all. What else is supposed to be done? What more do they expect from New York City?
Ongoing tension, if not outright combat, between state and city officials across the country and the Biden White House over immigration. It is a battle that transcends partisan lines to some degree. Here in New York City, Democratic Mayor Eric Adams has been publicly critical of the Biden administration, saying D.C. has abandoned us. In the past 2 years,
Eric, the only problem with these narratives right here is that Eric Adams is not the only politician that's saying that. Eric Adams is not the only politician that's in a Democrat city that's saying that. Here's my question for you guys. Who else is saying the same things that Eric Adams is saying?
Of thousands of migrants with no place to stay have crossed the southern border and arrived in New York City. Some were sent by Republican governors, some aimed to land in New York, and others have arrived without knowing where they are. One thing remains true for all of them. New York is the only major city in the country required by the courts to provide shelter, food, and care to anyone who needs it.
What's going to end up happening is they're going to eventually push the people that pay to live in New York City out of New York City in order to accommodate this nonsense. That's what's going to end up happening. Everybody that lives in New York City is going to get pushed out so that they can accommodate this court-ordered nonsense. And this is court-ordered nonsense that the people of New York City allowed. That people of New York City supported. People in New York City wanted to be a sanctuary city. People from New York City wanted to be known as the place. We're known as the place that'll take in anybody, okay? Now, guess what? Now everybody knows. How's that working out?
For more than a year on this show, we have been tracking the impact of this ongoing wave of migration. We have interviewed migrants from South America who fled their homes under dire circumstances, made death-defying trips across multiple borders.
Man, do you see this? Do you see his face? Do y'all see that man's face? If y'all see his face, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't see his face, give me a thumbs down. Do you see his face? Now, we're in New York City, so we're going to use New York City language. Do you know what that is across his nose? What's that across his nose? This dude sitting up here looking like Gustavo Fring. Looking like Los Pollos Hermanos. In New York City, they call that a $150. He got a $150 across his face. If you go and listen to any rap song from when New York City had a monopoly over hip-hop, they talk about getting a $150 to your face. That's what he has. He has a $150 on his face. You don't get a $150 on your face from being a decent, normal person.
South America, who fled their homes under dire circumstances, made death-defying trips across multiple borders and arrived here, historically a city of immigrants. This fall, we checked in with officials to see how a city like New York is handling the impossible, providing aid and shelter without enough of either. When it opened in 1924, the Roosevelt Hotel was a luxury destination. As New York City socialites flocked to the Art Deco building, and artist Guy Lombardo made the hotel famous for his annual rendition of Auld Lang Syne.
Happy New Year, everybody. A very happy New Year.
The Roosevelt soon earned the nickname the Grand Dame of Madison Avenue.
I guarantee you the Roosevelt ain't looking like that no more. I guarantee you the Roosevelt ain't looking like that no more.
Today, a top New York City health official is calling it the new Ellis Island.
See that? They calling the, I want y'all to make sure that y'all hear this. They're calling the Roosevelt the new Ellis Island. And the politicians keep gaslighting these people. Now, I asked this question on the channel called Undocumented the other day, and I'm going to ask you guys this question again. If you listen to Joe Biden's rhetoric that he had, the rhetoric that Joe Biden said during the election, as far as the United States being a country of immigrants, and as far as him saying that he would fast track all of those 1.5 million undocumented people that are here in the United States, is it safe to say that Joe Biden invited a lot of this crisis himself? Because nobody's holding Biden to task where he was sitting up there saying, I'm not doing anything for black people there, but I'm going to sign these executive orders and grant all these undocumented people asylum. Did he not say that? Did Joe Biden not say that? So you don't mean that, you don't think that all of these people heard Joe Biden and his idiot ass say that and then just come flooding into the United States talking about, see, the president said it? If you look at all of these immigrants that they interview on the border, they all say we come here because of Joe Biden. They all said it. They say, thank you, Joe Biden. They all say that. That one dude that was on the border, he said, I thank you, Joe Biden, for inviting me here. I just want to work. He said, thank you, Joe Biden, for inviting him here. So now, how come nobody is holding Joe Biden to task? How come nobody is sitting up here saying, hey, listen, you old fart, this is your problem. You got on TV with your old stupid ass and just started inviting everybody here. And now everybody's here. Give me some damn money so we can take care of this, or stop messing with them border patrol agents down in Texas and let them enforce the border. Something, you need to do something. But nobody's really putting the smoke to Joe Biden like that, though. He's just allowed to just run around and be old and have liver spots all over his head and forget everything except for how to be an anti-black racist. That's the only thing that Joe Biden is sitting up here doing. This dude is an ineffective waste of a male. And he's the president. Joe Biden is proof that you don't have to be shit to be the shit in America. Which is one of the reasons why all these people come in.
Welcome to the New York City Asylum Seeker Arrival Center.
Dr. Ted Long led New York City's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, alongside New York City Immigration Commissioner Manny Castro, Long is dealing with a crisis of a different kind, finding shelter for more than 140,000 migrants who have arrived in New York City in the past year and a half.
So what exactly is happening here? What is this area?
So when people come into the arrival center, we immediately want to give you a place to sit, offer you a meal, make sure your kids are attended to. Then you come up here and this is where you register. Registration is what's your name and how big is your family.
Where TD at? I need TD to I need TD to have that one I need TD to have that one drop. We're gonna put you back in chains.
You ain't black.
Why are you gay?
Hey, Eric Adams went down to Washington, D.C. and was trying to talk to all them people and was sitting up there sounding like Cobra Commander.
Idiots! I'm surrounded by incompetent idiots!
So that we know exactly how many families are here and how big the families are, so that as rooms become available in New York City, we know who can get placed there immediately.
Under the chandeliers in the main lobby where New Yorkers once hobnobbed, immigrants now wait to be registered. They are exhausted. They are worried. Many have made dangerous treks to get here. And now they need a place to stay.
Sí tengo miedo porque no nos dan razón. Nos dicen que no.
Hold on, man. Hold on. Hold on, homegirl. Hold up. Them nails ain't looking like you was climbing up tree bark. Hold on real quick.
Many have made dangerous treks to get here. And now they need a place to stay.
Sí tengo miedo porque no nos dan razón.
Yeah, them nails ain't looking like they she was climbing up no damn tree, do they? Them nails is pretty fresh. I like manicures. I appreciate a nice manicure on a woman. You know what I'm saying? And that manicure is fresh. How you getting a manicure, ma'am? Seriously. Shout out to the ladies who are in the chat. Am I lying? Those nails are those are pretty damn new, aren't they? Let's keep it a buck. Those ain't no nails that said, you know, you've been climbing up trees and you've been jumping through the river and fighting off all kind of snakes and poisonous frogs. That's not what them nails say. You know what I'm saying?
Nos dicen que nos van a ubicar, pero no sé. Que lo hagan por los niños. Hemos pasado muchas cosas, tanto como mujeres, bastante con los niños, toda mi trayectoria.
Shout out to Deneen. Fresh out the nail salon. Facts. Cassie said my nails look like a child got hold of them and clipped them. Her nails is fresh. I'm just saying. You ain't went through no damn Darien Gap with no nails looking like that. Some of them acrylic would have broke off and all kinds of stuff. Like, come on now.
Agradecida estoy con lo que van a hacer, pero que nos digan porque cae la noche y hay mucho frío aquí en Nueva York y mis niños están chiquitos.
The number of rooms we have available across New York City at this given moment is 0. That's why we have so many people.
Listen, this has been a problem. Wait a minute. Hold up. Cut. Stop. This has been a problem. How many people saw the movie Scarface? If y'all saw the movie Scarface, give me a thumbs up. If y'all didn't see the movie Scarface, give me a thumbs down. Why am I asking about Scarface? Watch the movie Scarface now in 2023 and watch the first scene in Scarface where he's being processed in Freedom Town. Do y'all remember that? Oh, my daddy was a Yankee. You remember that? The way that they've been dealing with immigration, the way that they've been dealing with this migrant crisis, for one, the migrant crisis has been going on forever. There was indeed a Cuban migrant crisis in Florida. You know what I'm saying? And the way that they just let Manolo and Scarface through, the way they let Manolo and Tony through, and all they had to do was just lie and have fake documents. And they came, listen, Tony and Manolo came to the United States. They lied to the Florida immigration authorities in the port of Miami, in Freedom Town, waiting under that bridge. When they went to Miami, they had a value chain network of other Latino gangsters that was waiting for them to get them some work. This is the same hustle that's been going on forever, man. And they put that shit right on Scarface. And people watch Scarface and forget that happened. That's exactly, this is still going on. How people been in the dope game forever. Scarface came right into the United States and had the plug. That's what's going. That's what's going on here. You know what I'm saying? Now, in 2023, with everybody with their eyes on the migrant crisis, go back and watch Scarface again. Go back and watch it again and just watch that first scene. Notice how it ain't no black people in Scarface. That's because they don't do business with people outside of their ethnicity. I'm not making this up. You can go get the movie. The 20th anniversary DVD, if people still renting DVDs or buying DVDs or whatever you do, it's not that expensive. Go watch it again. Go watch Scarface again. You ain't even got to watch. If matter of fact, if you just watch the intro scene, you should be able to YouTube the intro scene. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
People in the lobby now. That's our
So
work.
none of these people have a place to sleep tonight.
Correct. None of them do. And currently, it's not an exaggeration. We have 0 rooms across New York City for families with children.
Outside of the hotel, hundreds more wait to be processed. There are no beds available, but a consent decree requires New York City to offer anyone and everyone shelter.
Think about this for a moment, New Yorkers. We have a policy in place right now.
Listen here, son. We got this policy in place right here, and the policy don't really make no sense. It's not sustainable, B. It's not sustainable. Word of mother. And what's going to happen, son, is that if these migrants keep coming in here, we're going to run out of space. More migrants, more migrants, more migrants, less space. You heard? Hip-hop Mayor Eric Adams. It's the start of your ending.
Think about this for a moment, New Yorkers. We have a policy in place right now that states you can come from anywhere on the globe, come to New York City, and we have to pay for your food, shelter, clothing for as long as you want. When does it reach a point where it says it's not sustainable?
How many a day are you getting?
Last week there was a day where we got over 1,000 people. And we're seeing a surge, and that is just, to us, it's unsustainable because our city was not set up to manage a humanitarian crisis of this magnitude for this long.
More than 2.4 million people have crossed the southern border in the past year.
Now, hold on. All right, look. 2,475,669 people. I need somebody to tell me what was the exact figure of undocumented people in the United States that Joe Biden said that he was going to write that executive order for. And shout out to DC Precise for putting in the no unsustainable symbol. Remember, anytime we mention unsustainable, drop that symbol that DC Precise is putting in the chat right now. So there was already that number of people, right? There was already that big number that Joe Biden said he was going to write executive orders for to fast track the citizenship. So add this number to that number.
4 million people have crossed the southern border in the past year. A recent spike brought on in part by the end of a COVID-era policy that turned back migrants at the border. Thousands of them are now in New York City. Joel Hernandez is one of them. Like millions of others, Hernandez left Venezuela to escape food scarcity and poverty. It took him almost 4 years to make it to the U.S.
Escaping food scarcity and poverty are not reasons for asylum to be granted. We looked at a video where it showed the specific reasons for asylum to be granted, and food scarcity and poverty is not one of them. There's poverty here in the United States. You think I could just pull up somewhere and be like, yo, they got poverty over here. I got to go. I got to get over here with y'all because we got poverty. You serious? I live in one of the poorest states in the United States. You think if I just showed up in Canada and was like, yo, we broke over here, let me in. You think they're going to do that? Canada might. But if I went anywhere else, do you think that they would? We got a drug epidemic bad in the state that I live in. It's broke here. You know what I'm saying? The economy is horrible, which is why everything is so damn cheap. I could legit say that. but they're not going to let me in somewhere because of that. There are specific reasons that you have to have that will qualify you for being allowed to be an asylum seeker. And these reasons that they are giving when they give these interviews are not the true reasons. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys show Patrick Taylor some love. Throw some radiation emoji in the chat for him with the $1.99 super chat. He said illegals are no good as buffers if they go to Cali. Yeah, they try to get them into the interior of the United States, get them all over the place here in the United States. But at the same time, no, I mean, here's the question. They're doing this buffer move against what? Because my question is, what move of ours are they countering? Basically, all this is doing, if you ask me, if we're going to take that approach and assume that this is being done because of a focus on us, what moves are we doing to counteract this? So this is just more of a security deposit, if anything, because they just like, oh, these people ain't doing shit anyway. Shit, we may as well just go ahead and lock them up. They're not going to fight back. They're going to sit around and just talk about it. Because that's all anybody is doing. The only place, and most people not even doing that. The only place where they're actually even talking about it is Chicago. The rest of the conversations is taking place on YouTube and on Twitter. Nowhere that actually anything is going to get done at. I'm not trying to be funny, man, but if I was the people running the world, I wouldn't even break sweat like this because it's not even worth it. Because the people that I'm trying to isolate ain't doing shit anyway. Ain't nobody doing shit to fight this shit off except for talking about it. And if all people gonna do is mumble under their breath when I turn my back, I'm good. I got that Debo swag. Y'all gonna talk shit when y'all get to the car. Y'all ain't gonna talk shit when we drop the buses off. So shit. You know what I'm saying? So to me, they're actually doing more than what's necessary. People having enough problem with the status quo. They can't fight their way out of a paper bag, let alone modifying shit. You know what I'm saying?
But when Hernandez finally arrived at the southern border last year, he had no idea he would end up in New York. A free bus ticket made the decision for him.
Cuando yo estaba en el centro de detención, ellos me preguntaron que si yo tenía pasaje y realmente no tenía la cantidad de dinero para llegar acá y ellos me llevaron a una fundación.
This dude sitting here looking like the Venezuelan Spice One. Now he had committed a crime, and they'll Fox News and New York Post to plaster him all over the airwaves, talking about he's a black person. But on his job applications and everything, it says white.
Que es como una iglesia donde estaban mandando a diferentes lugares, Miami, Washington, D.C. y Nueva York. Y yo escogí Nueva York porque aquí era donde estaba mi hermano.
Hernandez now works as a delivery driver in a city he barely knows.
Cuando veníamos, lo único que sabíamos.
Who knows the city that they work in?
Era que era una ciudad santuario.
Unless you, this is stupid. Unless you work in the city that you live in, who actually knows the city that they work in? I've worked in cities before, and the only thing that I ever went to those cities for was to go to work. Who cares if you know the city or not? Let me ask y'all this. Do most of you all work in a city that you quote unquote know? How well do you know a city? Like, what are they talking about? And another question that you got to ask is, why is there all of this just extra leniency for just there as an excuse for everything? You got a damn phone with Google Maps on it. That's all you need. Do you know how to turn your phone on? If you know how to turn your phone on and you know how to access Google Maps, then guess what? You know the city. Like, cut the games.
Área donde los inmigrantes eran protegidos y no los podían deportar.
Since the spring of 2022, Republican governors have been sending often unsuspecting migrants to liberal cities, using human beings as pawns to exact political revenge and hoping to provoke an anti-immigrant backlash.
They put out policies self-proclaiming that they're sanctuary cities, and they love to promote these liberal ideologies until they have to actually live up and apply them.
This past weekend, there was a night where between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m., we had 7 unannounced buses from Texas arrive overnight.
Were those buses that were sent by the governor?
Those are buses that were sent by the governor and the cities of Texas.
Clearly, Texas wants to make a point, but what are we to do? Let people sleep in the street?
You don't want them in our country.
This has been a live issue on the presidential campaign trail, where Donald Trump has been stoking anti-immigrant fear for political profit.
So you already know what time MSNBC is on. You guys already know what time MSNBC is on. I'm going to ask y'all this. What time is MSNBC on? This is illegal migrants, fast tracking people who we don't know who they are. That's not being anti-immigrant. That is not anti-immigrant. That is anti-illegal immigration. That is anti-closed border. That is anti not being able to document people. That's what that is, which is perfectly fine. Those are not anti-immigrant settlements. Somebody would look at my channel and be like, oh, on Blacklight Revelations on his channel that's called Undocumented, and on his series that's called The Undocumented Bros, he's quote unquote stoking anti-immigrant sentiments. No, I'm not. I have an issue with the way that the laws are being carried out. I have an issue with the way that the laws are being applied or not applied. Just because somebody does not like what somebody is saying does not mean that that gives them the right to lie about somebody's message. You know what I'm saying? And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 73 people watching. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, take a moment, hit that bell. Also, please share the stream to your social media. If you guys know anybody who lives in one of these areas, tag them in the stream. Tell them to come check this out. Let's get it.
No, they're terrorists. It is a very sad thing for our country. It's poisoning the blood of our country.
That sort of language has been echoed across the country.
We must make sure that we extend.
This year, even Mayor Eric Adams, a Democrat, has come under fire for rhetoric critics call dangerous for immigrants.
This issue will destroy New York City.
So now, what's anti-immigrant about what he just said? He's right. This issue will destroy New York City. This issue will also destroy the entire country if this issue is not properly addressed. That's not anti-immigrant rhetoric. That's reality rhetoric, is what that is. If you guys agree that that's reality rhetoric, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree and believe that that's anti-immigrant rhetoric, then give me a thumbs down.
Adams has further described migrants as financial burdens for New York taxpayers.
If I raise your taxes because anyone on the globe that wants to come to New York City,
they are financial. Are you serious? They are financial burdens. Again, for the people watching on the replay, make sure that you watch the replays with the live chat. If you have to cut the budget to accommodate the incurring cost of people coming into the country illegally to where you're not able to provide the same level of resources for the native people in the native tax-paying base, is that cutting the funding because of migrants? Yes, they're costing money. They're costing money. There's literally nothing wrong with saying that. That's literally what's going on. Are the immigrants coming there and are they not costing the city anything? Is it a lie to say, well, this influx of immigrants that have come to New York City, they haven't cost New York City anything? Their stay it costs virtually next to nothing. Is that a true statement if somebody were to say that? Like, let's keep it a buck here.
Can stay here forever, and the federal government is saying it's on our tab. Listen, Idealism collides with realism all the time. The realism is we are out of room.
I'm the daughter of immigrants.
Yep.
This is an immigrant city.
Yeah.
New York City wants to, in theory, welcome immigrants, but the mayor's rhetoric around immigrants, and specifically this group of migrants, has been very abrasive in recent months. And I understand the...
I want to add, again, we got to ask these questions. Has Mayor Eric Adams' rhetoric towards immigrants been abrasive? Mayor Eric Adams has not said one disparaging word about immigrants. Eric Adams literally told black people, what about black on black crime? Eric Adams literally told black people that black people need to lay off the drill rap. Everybody don't listen to drill rap. Mayor Eric Adams specifically made anti-black cliche comments towards black people. He hasn't done that to the immigrants. This is nonsense coming from this lady and from MSNBC gaslighting this nonsense. Nobody had a problem with it when Eric Adams was sitting there talking nonsense about black people. Who had a problem with it when Eric Adams was sitting there talking nonsense? When Eric Adams was sitting there talking about black on black guy. Who remember when he said that? It sounded like Bullwinkle. Looking like Bullwinkle too. That's Eric Adams' new name. Bullshit Winkle.
frustration and the desire for the federal government to intervene in more formal capacity. But do you at all worry that the messaging from City Hall has not been actually that welcoming to the immigrants who will find themselves here?
Well, we've been saying this for over a year, that we need help. We have to say it in a way that people, pay attention.
To guarantee beds for every asylum seeker who comes to New York City, more than 200 new city-funded emergency shelters have popped up all over the city.
Most people assume that this is being done by the federal government, and we're doing it in New York City, and we're hoping that this can be used as a model to be replicated everywhere else in the country.
Yeah.
But in the meantime,
now again, this is a question that I got for y'all. Why is it that they're able to springboard all of these new facilities for migrants? You guys see this, right? Lots of facilities for migrants, lots of them, and they're popping them up just like some damn Pop-Tarts come out of the toaster, right? Why couldn't they get these facilities up for the homeless population that they got there? That's my question. They had this whole homeless crisis. So if the migrants had never came to New York, all of these special, tent cities and stuff like that they're building, they would have never done that. Well, facts, Carl. Listen, Carl said because the migrants are running the country. Every time you hear somebody in a position of power, they sit up here talking about how this is a country of immigrants and my family is immigrants. So Carl's got a point. Literally all of them has said, oh, this is a country of immigrants. My parents, grandparents were immigrants. Carl got a point.
time, we can't be the only ones.
The Biden administration is helping.
We've already delivered over $1 billion that Congress appropriated to states and cities receiving immigrants.
But New York...
we've given $0 for reparations for American descendants of slavery and foundational Black Americans. When it comes to... Now, remember, they don't have any money at all. Anytime anybody says anything about some money, they don't have any money. They'll just make money appear out of the clear blue sky and give it to other people. That should tell everybody something about what we need to do. Because what we need to do is not ask. But we need to still get that money. So how do you get that money without asking? That's the only way we're going to get that money, is if we get that money without asking. Because if you're asking, you're opening up the vulnerability of being told no by a dried up raisin like Joe Biden. And then everybody just scurry around and be all upset because somebody said no. No, he needs to scurry around and be like, damn, they just took this shit from me. That's what needs to happen. Until that happens, nothing's going to happen. He's just going to go up here on a podium, safe as ever, not worried about any consequence, and just say, I just decided to give $10 billion to XYZ for no reason. And yet, black people, you're going to have to work with Latinos. Even though no other group of people has been told they have to work with some other group of people, you're going to get told that. Keep listening. Listen, man, I ain't trying to be funny. Keep listening to what people say. That's the problem. How many times do y'all hear, well, we've been told this, we've been told that? Why do people keep listening to the wrong people? You would think after decades of being told stupid shit that people would stop listening to the people that keep, quote unquote, tolding them this shit. But they don't. Why don't they? Make it make sense.
No, we can't be the only ones.
The Biden administration is helping.
We've already delivered over $1 billion that Congress appropriated to states and cities receiving immigrants.
But New York City officials say it's not nearly enough. The city has already spent more than $2 billion to house and care for newcomers since the spring of 2022. It is expected to spend $12 billion.
Look at all that money that they spent. I want y'all to see these figures. Do y'all see this? Boldly bragging about it. $2.7 billion to a non-tax-paying community. They shelled out $2.7 billion to people that haven't invested a dime in the country, haven't invested a drop of sweat in the military. And they'll find reasons to give these people money and find every reason to not give you what you're owed.
Since the spring of 2022. It is expected to spend $12 billion over 3 fiscal years.
They only gave us a little over $100 million to pay for this.
In September, the Biden administration eased pressure on would-be migrants by offering temporary protected status to more than 470,000 Venezuelans already in the U.S. That status allows them to obtain work permits, but some DHS officials worry this might prompt more migration from elsewhere. In the meantime, everyone else is left in limbo.
All of the Democrat rhetoric, all of the rhetoric that's going on right now, it is mainly the rhetoric that is constantly being spewed by the Democrats. The rhetoric that Joe Biden had, that he advertised when he first got into office. All of that is what's causing this migrant crisis. All of that stuff combined. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Me piden papeles de trabajo. Digo, pero si no tengo, aunque sea salir, aunque sea trabajar una horita, algo, pero ya me sirve para algo para comer.
Every asylum seeker we communicated with said, we don't want anything free from New York. We just want to be able to contribute to the city.
People who call New York City home represent more than 2.
How are they contributing to the city? You know the best way to contribute to the city? Stop straining the resources and wait your turn.
Hundred nationalities. Many came through the southern border, were processed at the Roosevelt Hotel, and are now the newest New Yorkers. This is Turkish, right?
Yeah, it looks like Turkish or Ukrainian because we serve a lot of Ukrainian.
Oh.
Yeah.
For now, the Roosevelt Hotel is the only arrival center in New York City. The work is hard, but welcoming migrants is a reminder of what has always made America, America.
So yeah, that's what always made America, America. They forgot about that slavery part. They forgot about that slavery part. I'm going to ask you guys a question. What made America, America? So it's interesting. We never really see anything being done for other immigrants. But here they have something going on for Haitian immigrants. So we're going to check this out real quick. Local nonprofit that assists Haitian immigrants dispels myths, urges compassion. Now, here's my question. What kind of myths are we talking about here? They dispel myths. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I don't necessarily know if I'd be trusting no clergy people that look like that. A lot of times, them people come over with a Bible and, you know what I'm saying, leave with control of your country. You know what I'm saying? People too unobservant to notice that, and they keep doing it. So it is what it is. Director Casey Rollins and St. Vincent de Paul have been the target of negative messages and attitudes for its assistance to this population. So people are criticizing them for assisting, quote unquote, the migrant population. But I'm curious as to if they're being criticized for assisting the Haitians in specifically. You know what I'm saying? So it says, from the start of Haitian immigrants arriving in Springfield, many have gone to St. Vincent de Paul for assistance with finding housing, clothing, and other needs. But since the death of an 11-year-old Northwestern student in a deadly bus crash in August involving a Haitian immigrant, St. Vincent de Paul director Casey Rollins said many community members have demonstrated a lack of understanding of what the organization's role is in the Haitian community. So that community is ready to be upset and give up on Haitian people because of a car accident. Okay. So now here it says people don't truly understand what we do and why we do it, Rollins said. She said that St. Vincent de Paul is a Christian nonprofit that helps any person or community in need. It survives on donations and is run by volunteers. The organization has been the target of negative messages accusing Rollins and other volunteers of bringing Haitian immigrants into the city, buying the nonprofit's current building just to serve Haitians, and other quote unquote just untrue statements. So these people are really getting attacked for their work with the Haitian community. My question for you guys is, has anybody heard of this particular organization or heard of this particular group or heard of any of these particular critiques? Rollins said that the building was purchased before the influx of Haitian immigrants into the city. Officials have estimated there are around 7,000 to 10,000 Haitian immigrants now living in the area. We live by donors and we love those people. We want to accept everyone and their opinions, but we don't want to accept the venom. The director said that while the organization has received increased vitriol, it has also seen an increase in donations. She said many donors asked to fund specific needs like food emergencies. We're just a small group of volunteers with lots of donors who are watching us and who support this, Rollins said. Some of the assistance St. Vincent de Paul gives to the Haitian community is important in bettering the community as a whole, Rollins said. This includes helping them navigate the work permit process. She says Haitians are working poor and they want enough help to get a leg up to become self-sufficient rather than relying solely on nonprofit or government assistance, of which they receive nothing. So again, like there's all these myths about these people coming to the United States and just coming to the United States and just bypassing Americans, and you know, they're so much better than us inherently. And when you start doing your research and when you start looking, what actually the situation is that a lot of these people find some place that's going to give them some help. A lot of these people find some place that's going to give them some help, and they get the help. They're not out here doing this on their own. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says many Haitian immigrants who received assistance from St. Vincent will come back to help others in the community become independent like them, Rollins said. The nonprofit receives no government assistance to care for the migrants, Rollins said. We're not paid by the government. We're charged by God, Rollins said. The Clark County Combined Health District received a grant from the government to fund interpretation services and other needs when it shared with St. Vincent de Paul to pay its interpreters, Rollins said. Their pay also comes from private donors. Now, just in a paragraph before that, they literally just said that they didn't get any government help. Rollins also penned a letter to the Springfield City Commission regarding the impact the bus crash had on the attitudes of some community members. Clark County's recent trauma from a child's senseless death has created a wound so deep in all of us, a wound that is as cultural as it is personal. No one feels that pain more than those grieving families, Rollins wrote. We are all directly impacted by the stressful events unfolding, troubling community reactions, and the ensuing turbulence in our community. Sadly, it feels like it has more to do with unfortunate pre-existing agendas in our country. Venting those frustrations through controversial, antagonistic, and even threatening remarks and actions is causing visible divisions among us all. I'm going to just put it to you like this. If these white people in this city got the nerve to be outraged about some car accident that happened where some kid got taken out, my question for you guys is, how should all of us treat them as far as centuries of anti-black racism, slavery, apartheid, colonization, and everything else? You mad about a car accident. So if you're allowed to be mad and uptight and pouting all over the place and having funny looks at people because of a car accident, what should we do with them? That's my question. And that's how people need to start looking at it. Stop looking at it like just some sobbing, groveling, hopeless, unable to do anything about the situation we're in, you know, underlings, and start looking at this shit like we're soldiers in an actual war. Because we are. Listening to that old 1960s nonsense that a lot of them post-civil rights, post-Jim Crow, post-slavery people said, I have you thinking that you going up against the Terminator or something like that. You're going up against people that can't even turn 60 without osteoarthritis. That's what the reality is. Like, it's ridiculous. So now here it says Rollins detailed some of the challenges this population faces, including the struggle to obtain work permits in a city with quote unquote thousands of unfilled jobs. So why aren't those jobs being given to the people who are unemployed in the city first? Yeah, exactly. Facts, Tiff. That's what I'm saying. If you guys agree with Tiff, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. And shout out to Denise for being a bot enforcer. Tiff said, imagine a car accident being your biggest problem. That's just like how Jimmy Dore just couldn't understand how Cornel West had other issues to deal with other than C-19 lockdowns. These people live in a fantasy world. With insecure housing and no immigration lawyers or judges, along with language barriers, housing shortages, financial difficulties, and more. Unlike people of other statuses, once Haitians arrive in this country, they receive no resources from big government. Why? Which is interesting because our big government helped to destroy and destabilize their government. How many people were aware of that? If you guys were aware of this, unlike people from other statuses, once Haitians arrive in this country, they receive no resources from big government. They must rely on the financial resources that they brought with them and on the kindness of their new community, Rollins wrote. So let me ask y'all this. Why is it that Haitians don't get any resources from the government? What's old girl's name? Biden press secretary, Jean Pierre? How come she ain't saying nothing about that? And I got to agree. If y'all agree with Ricky that this is a money grab for all these different organizations, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. So now here go my question. Like, they know this, right? See, here's the thing, right? Anytime we ask these kind of questions, we all know the answer. So here's the even better question. If we know the answer, then why is it that there's nothing being done? You would think that knowing the answer would give people motivation to say, this is what we need to do to change this. But what it just seems like it does is it just seems like it just gives people motivation to just talk about it even further. And I don't know how that helps anything. Yeah, I didn't know that either, Chanel. I didn't know that either. So now it says, as they get established, they might become eligible for certain benefits. And then they say, i.e. food and SNAP benefits, Medicaid, school enrollment, etc. They must also find immigration lawyers to ensure that their status remains current. All right. Once Haitians have secured work permits and become gainfully employed, U.S. taxes are immediately garnished from their wages through a Social Security card. Rollins urged the community to embrace the area's growing Haitian immigrant population. Simply, all people, citizens, immigrants, refugees, and so on, deserve a place at the table. God's table, she wrote. Okay. So, yeah, so there goes one place where some Haitian people are getting a little bit of help. And the reason why they're getting this help is because the government doesn't do anything. Now, here goes my thing, right? Never mind. I ain't even going there. So what we're about to do next is we're going to look at what happened in Washington. I'm going to ask y'all this. What do y'all think happened in Washington with Mayor Eric Adams and Joe Biden? What do y'all think happened with hip hop mayor and Joe Biden? Was he top shilling?
Mayor Adams says he does not expect financial help from Washington anytime soon to deal with the migrant crisis. The mayor made the rounds yesterday.
Hold on. What more can I say? What more can I say? Top shilling.
Adams says he does not expect financial help from Washington anytime soon to deal with the migrant crisis. The mayor made the rounds yesterday, speaking with lawmakers on Capitol Hill and with officials at the White House. But today he says he returned home without optimism. Mayor predicts it will cost $12 billion over the next 3 years to care for tens of thousands of asylum seekers who are arriving in.
Facts. If y'all agree with DC Precise, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. He got mushed in his forehead. Get out of here. Get out of here. That's exactly what happened.
In town.
We had a very painful November plan that we had to produce, and now we're looking forward or in the direction of how do we address the $7 billion budget deficit that we have to address in January.
The mayor has already proposed across-the-board budget cuts for city agencies. The Biden administration says $770 million has already gone out to.
I don't know what just happened there. Must have been too much bullshit. I don't know what just happened to the article, but it must have just been too much bullshit. They couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? Deneen said that Joe Biden blocked his number.
You ain't black.
This is the only reason I could think of that Eric Adams would have went down. Oh man, you smoke crack, don't you? That's the only reason you thought that Joe Biden was gonna give you anything. Listen to me, boy. That's what Joe Biden told Eric Adams. He said, "Listen to me, boy. I'm not giving you a damn." Oh man, Eric Adams was like, "I don't want to be mayor no more, sir. This migrant crisis is too damn much. I don't want to be mayor no more. Go back there to New York and run that city, boy." Go make that budget, boy. Oh man, don't walk so slow about it. Do it expeditiously. Oh man, got him. Look at this. Look at this. Got him. Help is not on the way. It ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap.
Yesterday, I was in Washington, D.C.
Oh man,
to meet with.
He was yelling at. He was yelling at the top of his voice at Joe Biden. Do y'all hear how his voice is cracking and it's all? He got laryngitis and all that, is done. He said, listen here, I need some damn money. And then Joe Biden said, Eric, you're blocked. And then just turned around and walked out of the room. And he said, damn it, I need some damn money. And he picked up a vase off of the table and threw it at the door as Joe Biden closed it. Now he had to come here and give this speech to the people.
Yesterday, I was in Washington, D.C. To meet with our congressional leaders and to meet with the White House. And I wanted to take the opportunity at the White House.
He said, and to meet with the White House.
And to meet.
You got knocked the fuck out, man.
Oh, Eric, man, what's up with it, son? What's good, B? You know what I'm saying?
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
Tell him, Blade.
Meet with the White House, and I wanted to take the opportunity at the White House celebration for the holiday season because I knew I would have a gathering.
Hey, I'm about to stream like that tomorrow. I'm gonna sound just like that. Well, yeah, it's your live stream. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Hit the like, share the stream, the social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's exactly what Joe Biden said. he said, Eric, I got a song for you. I'll treat you wrong, I will.
Lawmakers, mayors from across the country, and I was able to speak with the mayor of Chicago and leaders from Massachusetts and others. And we're seeing the same thing across the entire country. Our residents are weary, our residents are angry, our residents are seeing the impact of the migrant and asylum seeker issue, how it is taken away from the resources that should go to the day-to-day services of running the city. We did not walk out from DC with any level of optimism that anything is going to drastically change.
I drove all the way down there from New York City, and I was yelling for like 3 or 4 hours, and they wasn't trying to hear anything that I had to say. They wasn't trying to hear anything I said. So I come back here, and I still don't have any to help address anything. I don't even have my voice.
It's clear that for the time being, this crisis is going to be carried by the cities.
Oh, man. Hip-hop Mayor Eric Adams, man. The only thing that I could tell you to do, my man, is listen to less drill music. You know what I'm saying? And maybe things get better for you. What do you guys think? Y'all think Eric Adams needs to lay off the drill music? If y'all think that Eric Adams needs to lay off the drill music, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't, then give me a thumbs down. And I'm going to give you some more advice. Maybe you shouldn't be a drill for WS either, because like we know, they always break their tools. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell icon twice. Smash the like button. Share this video out to all of your followers. Shout out to the stream sponsor, Patrick Taylor, with the $1.99 super chat. We appreciate the ducats. Make sure you guys show him some love and throw some radiation emoji in the chat for him. Also, guys, don't forget, make sure you guys watch the stream to the end, because it's going to take you into the premiere window for Crimecast tomorrow. New Crimecast coming tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And I might have another stream later on today, but we got a Reacts scheduled at 3:30, I think. So if you are not subscribed to Reacts, make sure y'all subscribe to Reacts and check that out. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, as always,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour, got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city, that's on my knee, that's on TV, that's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that fake. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street, flexing for what feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat, cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, I'm really him, on God. Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey.